The video gonna be about Ray Charles turning down playing segregated Augusta, Georgia venue in 1961. Jim Crow laws. You know, when you hear about uh, people taking a stand against things, it speaks volumes. So far, so few and far do it, especially when someone couldn't even see. He did win a Helen Keller Award too, by the way. Ray Charles's music was universally loved by all ages, ranges, and backgrounds, and he dominated and hit the charts. You know, when recently when Beyonce from months ago won the Cowboy Carter for country album and people were outraged, they need to go understand Ray Charles was doing it back in the 60s. I Just Can't Stop Loving You was a big country hit. He crossed over Georgia. His songs were played on every kind of radio station you could imagine, as the man played every kind of music you could imagine, incorporating all kinds of styles. He was the father of soul music. He was the guy that was the innovator, and he propelled. But he also stood for human rights. In 1979, Georgia issued an apology for a stance he took. He was not going to succumb to Jim Crow laws. You see, when recently when Trump put those black statues in parks on the Rose Garden and whatnot, and acknowledged people, should have acknowledged Ray Charles. As a matter of fact, Ray Charles was very much split political, but he was about principle. He didn't sugarcoat, and he made himself a civil rights uh, participant and marcher by taking a stance against a blatant law, which we're going to tell people in case they don't know is only a little over 60 years ago. We're not talking 500 years ago, 400, 300, 200, or even 100. We're talking about a little over 60 years ago. That's still pretty fresh in minds when you went to Augusta, Georgia, and they would openly have Jim Crow laws and segregate the audiences. And that man was not going to stand for it. And then you think about that Jackie Johnson, prosecuting attorney who was in the Oshmont Arbery case, and how she was concealing evidence. And you wonder, how did all that tie together? Well, have they learned anything about their segregated ways? Had they learned anything about how to balance race relations in Georgia? Because it's very telling. Very telling. But anyway, this is a very compelling story that doesn't get talked about near enough. You hear about artists talking about what they stand for, what they based on, but very few put their money where their mouth is. That man was willing to sacrifice and pay fines and pay his money because he didn't want his audience to be segregated and separated. And I commend him for that. So, Ray Charles turning down segregated concert venues in 1961 is a big deal. Big deal. Big deal. Because this was before the 1964 Civil Rights Act was passed, which means you didn't have to wait till something happened. You took it upon yourself to make it happen. I'm going to say that again. You didn't have to wait for something to happen. You took it upon yourself to make it happen. That's what people back in the day used to do. So, Ray Charles turning down segregated venues in Georgia, and it's something that needs to be documented. You know, even with the movie that came out, and Jamie Foxx did a great job portraying that part. I think it's something that needs to be talked about in history books in school, because it is a matter of principle. When people go to a concert, you can imagine go to a concert and it's divided, and it's legally, especially with citizens born and bred in the country, to have to go through the Jim Crow laws and reality. That needs to be talked about. When people are also busy trying to downplay racism, institutionalized, systematic, it's in every form of fashion. That's why it is. And Ray Charles was someone who broke barriers. Respect Ray Charles. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments. And I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like, and hit that membership, because when you do, requests like this come true. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.